Open source is important to government because sharing information is kind of fundamental to governing, to being collaborative in lawmaking, in policy, and open source is a way that actually the people can be involved in that process by giving out your code, your policy publicly and transparently. People will be more informed, and they'll also be able to read and contribute back and kind of make their own contributions to the forward movement of the government. One really great example, it's more of a policy example than specifically with software, but it's the same kind of open source mindset. And this is in Germany. There's a gentleman, a citizen of Germany, that took all of German law and put it into a machine and human readable format and posted it up on GitHub. And every time a change is made to the law, he also logs that change publicly. And you can actually see exactly what changed, which characters on which lines, which sentences, which sections of the law have changed. And you can comment and you can actually propose your own changes. So right now that's being done by a citizen, but it's in the spirit of the government. And I think that developing on that front will be very interesting. At first, I think that a lot of open source adoption in government is financially motivated. So open source often reads as free, but that might not necessarily be the case. And I think now, open source has got a pretty strong foothold. I think now it's pretty clear that it's not just free, but the trend that I'm predicting is that governments will start using open source, and between departments, they'll start releasing more of their code open source, and those departments will reuse code that's already been made by other departments, rather than just saying, oh, this is free, let's try and just get this for free, rather than that mentality, more of a when we produce things, let's produce it in a way that can be reused by other departments and share it to those groups. Don't be afraid of it. There was an interesting quote during one of the talks earlier, that there was a survey done before adopting open source software, before there was a conscious decision to adopt open source software, to find out whether or not the government was actually using open source software already. And it turned out that it was everywhere. And so whether or not you know it, it's happening. People are using it, and just don't be afraid of it. Embrace it. Give back and collaborate with the other agencies, with the people of your country. Yeah. Anything. I'm working on projects at GitHub focused on education. So a lot of engineering education is, when students start learning software engineering, they don't learn about version control. So I'm actually working with students, student groups, professors in universities to start teaching more version control and encouraging students to actually do their work in the open, in groups, collaborate on their projects, as opposed to doing just individual assignments where they might be re-implementing the same thing that's happened over and over again. And by doing that, helping the students build a portfolio of work, because nowadays when people look for software jobs, the number one thing that they ask for is, what have you built before? Show me your stuff. And the goal is to get universities and students actually building things that are useful, that they're contributing to open source, so that when they go and start looking for jobs or whatever it is, they can show what they've done, and it's actually helpful.